Good morning, everybody. We will call the November 2nd Wright County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody. All right, minutes from October 26th. Anybody have any changes?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the October 26th board minutes.
I will second that.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Hewson. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Review and approval of the agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jamie Goodrum-Schwartz, Health and Human Services. I'd like to petition onto the consent agenda under HHS. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not sure which number it is.
E.
E. Item 2, petition to the Personnel Committee on November 10th, a reclassification of a child support officer position to a financial eligibility specialist position for discussion.
Mr. Chair, with that addition, I will make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like pulled for additional discussion?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Printed.
Motion by Commissioner Hewson, second by Commissioner Wetter. Any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Mr. Brian Lutz.
Morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Third week in a row I've been here.
Yeah.
Make this a habit.
We're honored.
It's my pleasure this morning. It was kind of a sad day last week, but a very happy day today. I guess that's how life is. With one closing, there's a new beginning. So I'm happy to be here today to seek approval of the appointment of Betsy Larson as my Chief Deputy Attorney in the Wright County Attorney's Office. Betsy and I started around the same time here. I had to give a little more notice than she did with her job, but we both started back in 2020, so have been here almost 22 years. There were 2 positions open. Betsy started out doing some civil work, and I started out doing misdemeanors, but we've been here our entire time together. So she's like I have 2 older brothers, so I always joke with Betsy, she's like the sister that I never had, and we've seen our families grow up together, and just great to know her and work with her for that many years. It was a no-brainer to me once I knew I was going to be appointed as county attorney, who my chief deputy would be once Brian Osselson retired. When Tom ran the office, and it was when Wyman didn't seek re-election, as Tom called it, kind of a 2-headed monster with him in charge of the criminal and Brian Osselson in charge of the civil. With the growth that we've experienced in the county and more of a demand on our office, I was able to create a new position for Mr. Kreiser as Chief Deputy of the Civil Division, which opened up this position to be my right-hand person, so to speak. So I think that the nature of Betsy's role will evolve. We're a working office. I know some departments are bigger, some county attorney offices are bigger. We have working supervisors in our office. Mr. Kreiser has a caseload. Shane Simons, my criminal chief, he has a caseload. So Betsy, as chief deputy, she's going to keep a felony caseload. As county attorney, I still actively prosecute cases and have a lot of other obligations. So in my, I guess almost, a little more than 10 months now, what I figured out a need for me is to have somebody to kind of fill in when I'm not able to do my other obligations. So that's the biggest role I see for Betsy, is to be my right-hand person, so to speak, and just someone I couldn't have more trust in to handle the affairs of the office. And she's just mutually liked by everyone and respected by everyone. So she'll be a great addition in this new role as Chief Deputy Attorney. So I welcome Betsy as Chief Deputy Attorney, and her husband is here. She lives in Buffalo, just outside of Buffalo. Her husband, Mike, is put his hand up there, and she has 2 adult sons, Ross and Ryan. So that, I'll turn it over to Betsy, and I do have the certificate that needs the approval of chairperson and.
You're not going to make her do the oath
Well, we did
over
that yesterday
everybody?
because that was her first day.
Do we need any kind of motion?
Morning, Commissioners. I certainly wasn't prepared to give a big speech here, but all I can say is that I'm really honored and grateful for this opportunity. It was somewhat unexpected when Brian mentioned it to me back when he was first appointed or took over. But all I can say is I really am honored and grateful. I do intend to do my very best job I can do for Brian, and however that evolves in the position, I am anxious to do that and to serve the residents of Wright County in the best way possible. And I really appreciate given this opportunity, and certainly appreciate everything, all the kind words Brian said about me. I don't take I don't take it lightly, and I'm just very happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
I do have one question, though.
Certainly.
Are you going to be wearing a bow tie?
If that's part of the job description, I might have to reconsider. I'm not sure about that.
I just hate to see just one
Yeah,
attorney wearing a bow tie. I'm just wondering if you're going to do that.
it is a unique look, but Greg can pull it off. I don't know that I can, so not planning on that, but.
Thank
Congratulations, Betsy.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much.
Great.
Do we need a motion for this?
I think it would be good.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the appointment of Betsy Larson as Chief Deputy County Attorney.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any other discussions? Anybody else want a roaster?
Well,
Ready? Mike might have something to say about
I
me.
might, but now to go back a ways to some of those misdemeanor cases that we toiled over years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
But you were always a good advocate and partner for the cause and for justice, so thank you.
All right. Hearing no other comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll just note, I know there's a matter later on that pertains to me. I'm going to try to make a 9:30 appearance from here via Zoom, but I gave my dates to Mr. Kelly if I'm not in the room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alicia O'Hare.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Alicia O'Hare, Wright Soil and Water. I just have a little housekeeping here for us with our annual AIS invasive species resolution. So this resolution is to have the county accept the local aid from the state. This year it is $231,332, which is a slight increase from the previous years. And I just have one minor typo. The last line of the resolution says for 2019 instead of 2022. So if you wouldn't mind updating that for me, Mr. Kelly, it'd be great. Other than that, that's it.
Didn't see that.
Anybody have any comments?
No?
No,
Mr.
that's
Chair, I'll
great.
make a motion to accept, and I guess this is the motion to delegate it to Soil and Water, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, and to delegate the AIS funds of the 231,300 and some odd lower change to Soil and Water of Wright County.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Houston. Is there any other discussions? Resolution, roll call vote. Commissioner Ketchmark.
Aye.
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 Resolution carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a good day.
Thanks, Alicia.
Oh, it looks like you also have to change the name on the bottom for the Assistant County Administrator, too. Mark Mattice, Parks and Recreation.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Here today to review and accept bids for basin and grade stabilization project on North Fork of the Crow River and ask you to authorize signatures between Wright County Division of Ag, so SWCD, and the contractor for implementation. I'm going to pass out the bid tabs. We open these on Friday. With the timing of the project, usually we'd have this in your packet, but the timing of the bid opening was Friday. Lee gets all upset when your petition's up on the agenda from Parks and Rec, but that's all right. We had 3 bids on this project. Asheville companies have the lowest bid. These are American Rescue Fund program dollars for clean water projects.
Quite a bit of difference in prices.
There might be, here's the 2 originals. For your record. Okay. So we were recommending moving forward with Asheville companies on a contract. You had a contract in your pocket that had a bunch of red stuff, fill in price, fill in contractor, but basically you filled those in, so here's the contract that's original for you. That's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're recommending moving forward with the contract with Asheville companies. Their bid was $148,517.45. 2 competitive bids, one a little high. We'd like to get this project moving as fast as possible so we can get it done before it frees up. Dan with SWCD here is here to answer any questions because he's the brains behind the operation. That's sad, I know.
Sad or scary?
Both, Dad.
Oh, he's a good salesman.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Ketchmark.
thank you. Thanks for giving us all the info here this morning. So if I read this right, they're going to begin the work as soon as possible, and it has to be done by December 31st?
Correct.
And no road closures involved?
No, it's all out in middle fields.
And is there anything, as I read through this, as far as looking if the folks that are going to do the work have the equipment available, either own or rent, or any clause about unnecessary delays due to mobilization of equipment or anything like
Well, if it
that?
freezes up next week, we're all in trouble because, that's act of God. But as far as equipment, they're providing an equipment list. They put in the bid proposal, the completion date from the completion timeframe in days. And then there is performance, in the contract, there's performance-based measurements. Let's see, that is under page 3, termination of purchase order, basically poor performance, poor production, unwillingness and incapacity, incapable of performing, completing tasks as defined. So we did lay out a bunch of terminations based upon past issues.
That's good as we
I
move.
mean, act of God, if it starts raining and snowing and it freezes up, then that's not their fault, but.
No,
But they did ensure that they have equipment that they're planning to rent for this project. They actually, the other project was Alamo that we put out, but that's under the county board approval for a contract. They actually got both of them, so Dan's gonna be hounding them pretty quick, get going, pre-construction meetings and stuff.
So it's going to be caught in another clause, I take it. If they put down, we plan on renting a 40-foot backhoe, but for some reason there isn't one available, so they're sitting around for 5 days waiting for it. There's some other clause that would address that delay then, I take
They
it?
can hire subcontractors, whatever. They gotta get it done in the working days they provided.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hillmeyer, or Asheville companies, are they a local company?
Yeah. Where are they from at? Hokkaido.
Okay, good. And then,
They did, the tree grubbing on ditch 10.
and then, where is this Hillmeyer, AKA Hillmeyer? Where are we about located, around what city?
Where is it?
Township.
North
Township.
Dakota.
or Cokato Township. All of them.
10th Street.
Okay.
Cokato Township. So it's what? Basins and stabilizations on the North Fork of the Crow River.
All right, good.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Houston?
Mark, I did hear that we are going to have higher than normal temperatures in November, so maybe that will help.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep damn busy.
I mean, I was kind of happy for personal reasons, but for this kind of stuff was great.
That's great.
Yeah, well, if you looked at the forecast this coming weekend and next week is pretty nice. All right.
All right.
We hope.
Can I get a motion? A second? I don't think I've had one yet, have I?
No,
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the bid from the Ashwell Company for the project, the Hillmeyer project in Cokato Township.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Ketchmark, second by Commissioner Houston. Any further discussions? This is just a regular, not a resolution, right?
Correct. Just regular.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
And Mr. Chair, we have the original contracts over with Mr. Kelly right now, so hopefully when you conclude your meeting, we can get signatures so we can get them to Ashwell so that they can get their payment and performance bonds in the works.
I got a full pen. I'll be all ready. Yeah, it's spelled the right way.
Ooh.
Oh,
I had a typo, I apologize.
Man, you changed all the language.
All right, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Here today to adopt the resolution ratifying order establishing a new joint ditch authority, ratifying actions and directing further proceedings for joint ditch number 35, formerly known as McLeod County Ditch number 35. If you remember from our meeting on the 19th, had a couple IT issues, but got through that one, and yeah, they're looking to get this adopted on the 8th.
And there's 2 properties in Wright County, is that what it was?
2 properties and 1 road authority.
So what do we got? Probably less than a quarter mile.
It's not a very big area.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Ketchmark.
And I assumed that there was improvements in cleaning plan for this, but apparently not. This is just a bookkeeping matter in case it comes up.
Yeah, I know McLeod has 6 redetermination of benefits next Tuesday going on, this including one of them. I don't know what their anticipated work is, since the ditch is entirely within McLeod. I haven't inspected it, but I'm not sure what their anticipated future plans are for the ditch, but from my understanding, the benefits were from 1918, so they desperately need to be updated.
Because we asked for photos of that section of the ditch to see what kind of shape it was in. I haven't seen any, have you?
I haven't yet, no.
And then I think their response was that, well, there isn't any work needed now, but this is for the future. So maybe another part of the ditch they're gonna work on?
Yeah, it could be taking into sections or maybe planning a larger scale. I was hoping to talk to them a little bit more on next Tuesday at the redetermination and see what their plans were. But they are the host county, so I guess, from creating a joint ditch, we would have one commissioner that sits on that proceedings for repairs, redeterminations, anything else coming up in the future. So.
All right, I look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution establishing the new joint drainage ditch authority on ditch 35 with McLeod County.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ketchmark, second by Commissioner Wetter. Any further discussions?
I was just glad that Commissioner Ketchmark made the motion since he's adding more work to his own plate, so at least then he's okay with it, or potentially more work.
Doesn't sound like it'll be a whole lot.
No, we're like a fiscal agent, it sounds like our favorite word, right, Lindsay? But because the billing has to come through our county because the property owners live here, but the ditch is in their county. That's a lot of what our involvement is. I don't know if.
Actually, they would bill out to all the work and then send us an invoice for just the Wright County constituents, and then we would assess them based off of that.
We're not the fiscal agent for the whole system, we're just for the properties.
Yeah, but as creating it as a joint ditch, we do get a member of our county board that sits and acts as a member of the drainage authority for that ditch. You know, in previous ones, it would have been just a McLeod County ditch, so they would be the 5 members of the drainage authority. And when it's created as a joint ditch, we get a little bit more hands-on in the process and actually get a vote.
Matt, you said something about a road?
Yeah, there's one Stockholm Township road that was assessed benefits based on the viewer's report, or will be assessed benefits once it's adopted.
And I'm assuming that those property owners have gotten letters stating, so they can be at the meeting. All right, any other questions? Hearing none, resolution, Commissioner Ketchmark.
Aye.
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 Resolution carries unanimous. Thank you, Matthew. Okay, items for consideration. Administration. Schedule a committee of the whole meeting to discuss elected official salary.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have to do this process per statute every year. Everyone seems to enjoy the process greatly. And so I was looking at setting a date for this meeting, reaching out to our 2 elected officials, had kind of targeted either the 29th of November or the afternoon of the 30th. Those are possibilities for the board. We should also discuss the board's salary at that meeting as well.
Mr. Chair, Administrator Kelly, I do have crime lab on the afternoon of the 30th.
Mr. Chair, how about early in the morning on the 29th?
What did you say their availability was on the 29th?
29th, I believe we're good for the whole day, so.
Okay.
9?
9's good.
Mine's good.
Mr. Chair, for the record, it's us 5 and attorney and sheriff. That's it, right?
That's it.
Correct.
So 9 a.m. on the 29th. And I will look for a motion.
I will make that motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Hewsome, second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any other discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Next item, schedule a board retreat.
Yes, Mr. Chair, was looking to, as it says, set a board retreat, talk about a few different aspects as we look into the turn of the year here, and it always seems like it's challenging to get something onto the calendar around this time of year, and then I would like to be sure that we could have a retreat with the board and then have some time to work with department heads prior to budget 2023's process starting. So it doesn't seem like that's far away, but it always tends to go quickly. So.
All right. I missed.
Yeah, sorry about just kind of looking for a date. This can be a little challenging sometimes to land. I was looking at the 17th of November, if we could go quicker, but it sounds like there may be some conflicts with that day amongst board members.
I'm thinking this will be 3-4 hours tops. So we could do a morning if some people can make the 17th in the morning from like 8:30 or 9 until 12:30ish.
I can't.
You
Can't make that day.
Mr. Chair.
Anything on the day or?
15th. Sorry.
Before 10, that'd be it.
Commissioner Ketchmark?
It seems like just the fall of the year, this time, there's just a lot of stuff going on. I'm wondering if we can push this off till, I don't know, January or February.
Well, I'd like to have one before we get into the new building and just with some long-range planning before we get into the new building on how things should be structured over there and stuff. I think it's important to kind of do it before we get over there instead of when we're in there.
How about December?
I mean, the biggest thing that there's a lot of policy development that needs to be taken into consideration and crafted. A lot of this goes back to our policies 300, policies 400, and we have to track and holistically look at what we want to be as a county from our mission statement and our value streams, and trying to determine out how we want to recruit and retain employees, what type of operations do we want from a fiscal perspective, whether it's to be cutting edge, whether it's to be lean, or whether it's to be sustainable. And we need to create that, and then we need to create some action items with whatever we collectively agree on. And it's kind of holistically talking through some of that and working it through our value streams and up.
So the 17th is out. What about like the 19th, which is a Friday?
I'm open, or the 15th.
And the 23rd, we don't have a board meeting, so we could do it on that day.
Or the 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd, 24th. The 25th, I'd rather not do it on.
No.
The 22nd, I've got something at 2:30, and it's a Zoom, so.
So it could be done in the morning then.
Yep.
So
Oh, yeah.
22nd, 23rd, what does it look like for you, Commissioner Ketchmark?
I don't know, November is just busy. I mean, our budget is set for next year, so there isn't an urgency with that part per se, but
How about December 1st, which is a Wednesday?
Buffalo State Schools.
that'd be okay.
I've got Buffalo Safe Schools,
At what time?
9:30.
If we can miss it, safe schools. If we, yeah, I mean,
we
just
have
not to be rude or anything. It's just some of these things, guys, we're gonna have to take levels of things that we have to just.
The first time in Hutch all morning.
Okay.
Third?
The 3rd of December,
Yep.
Friday? How's that work for everybody?
Do we start at like 8 or earlier?
That doesn't work for you, Commissioner Vetch?
Well, depends. I might be. We'd be with Mike. We'd have to start early. I'd be like starting at like 7:30, 8 a.m. because
fine,
I'd
too.
want to be done by 11, just because I have to head out of town midday that day. So
You want to start at 7, that's fine.
yeah, I'll start early. I'll start at the crack of dawn. So
6, I'm used to.
Well, yeah, but
Well, I suggested 3 a.m.
How about 7?
I'm fine with 7. I have plenty of committees that start at 7, so I'm not afraid of 7 a.m.
All right,
Where
how
at?
about the rest?
I mean, probably 7:30 is more realistic, but whatever.
You got a short commute.
All depends on where we have it.
That's what I was gonna say, where at?
Typically, we've gone somewhere off-site where we've done retreats. Again, haven't looked at availability of locations for Friday the 3rd. Can certainly find one.
Either that or the other possibility is in this building at the old jury assembly room.
Yep.
Are you providing robes and sandals or?
Robes and sandals won't be seen. Prince?
Sorry.
I'll bring bagels. Not sure why you need robes and sandals.
That's what I was.
I will make that work. Like I said, I'll even do 6 a.m., Mike.
All right, so 7:30 on the 3rd,
7:30 on the 3rd. All right.
and I would assume that our county administrator will look to see where we can get together.
Yep.
All right.
We will
Got a few weeks.
figure that out.
I better put AM and not PM.
Possible to.
Hmm?
All right. We're good.
All right, so I would look for a motion.
All right.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to set a board retreat on December 3rd at 7:30 a.m. at a location to be determined.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Newsom. Any other discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Alrighty. Topics for discussion at the November 9th, next week's workshop meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I've tried to gather those as we've gone along here, and I think I've got a list based on previous meetings. Additionally, had added government center use agreements, both for the dental clinic as well as the EDP. Thought it'd be good to review those with the board. One other item I was going to raise, we did have, or will have, a close of our RFP for the compost site on November 4th. We have not received any responses at this point, but I don't know if you want to review those at the workshop if they are received. So,
If we have any.
If we have.
But we do have some.
we had several that indicated they were going to give responses.
Okay.
They do have a few days yet,
That's
so,
what we- Putting them in at the last second.
yep.
All right.
Otherwise, other items you'd like to add?
I think the RFP would be good to just discuss. for the
Update on it, yeah.
compost, Yep. I guess the other thing, anything regarding the compost, I guess we could discuss there if there was anything else that needed to know. And then the other thing I was thinking is the dental, if there's any updates on that. And the broadband, will that final be done from Design 9 by that time?
Don't
No,
believe so.
no, we pushed it out to the end of
The end of
November.
Is it? Okay, I couldn't remember. Okay.
Perhaps we'll do an update on our deferred comp as well, just to follow up on that piece. So we had the meeting a while back, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alrighty. Anybody else have anything else they would like to see added?
I guess maybe, because we don't have a workshop in December, and I don't know if they know enough information, but what the methodology for the move in January, because we won't really have a workshop prior to rolling out that information. And I don't know whether we have a committee to hold later on to kind of, I just would like to be in the know and when it comes.
I guess, yeah, just in any update on the building.
Building them,
Okay.
at least put it on there so we can have a
Yeah.
discussion on it.
And, Mr. Chair, do we say for sure we weren't going to have a workshop, or could we have potentially a brief workshop after our, like, December 14th meeting? I mean, it could be,
Or a committee of the whole at that point. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
yep,
gonna have to play it by ear.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an unusual year next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's gonna be a wonderful, unusual year
Yeah.
next year.
let's just say we've been rolling down this hill really faster and faster every day, it seems like.
Because we didn't cancel a board meeting in November, did we?
Yes.
We did.
The 23rd.
Or the 23rd?
Yep.
So I didn't put it on there, that's why.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. See, I would have been showing up here all by myself on the 23rd.
I'll be here.
So we need a motion to approve our, it's just consensus.
No.
We don't need to do anything on that.
Nope.
Agree.
Unless somebody else has something else they want to add to it. Okay, so hopefully we will have some people work on the RFPs for the compost to move forward with that. Alrighty. Anything else on that? Okay.
No, sir.
Committee minutes, broadband committees, Commissioner Vetch.
So sorry, we're doing broadband. I was thinking IT first. All right. So broadband committee met last week. We started out kind of getting, I guess, a flavor of what the Design 9 feasibility study will look like. I will say that I was intrigued on what information they're going to provide for us. Gave us some good highlights with the response rate that we got from that survey and some of the other information that they collected. One of the bigger one was the households' access to internet. 9% use cell phones, 42% have little broadband or DSL, 32% have cable modem, and 17% have little to no internet at all. On average, homeowners are paying between $130 and $200 a month for internet services. That is wrapped up, I'm assuming, with TV services, but we didn't get that kind of delineation. But I'm guessing, because generally it's not $200 a month for just internet, although I could be wrong. I live in Monticello, which has
Lots of options.
lots of options, so definitely much more price competitive. Anyways, so that was good information. We had some other discussions then about update from Flaherty and Hood. A great deal of conversation around the franchise agreements and the pitfalls that live there within, and what the legalities are, and why these franchise agreements become sometimes contentious and dragged out. So definitely working some more with Flaherty and Hood and trying to figure out how to move forward with that. The recommendation was to have Shane Zart from Flaherty and Hood provide a step-by-side guide with frequently asked questions and a sample franchise agreement. Then we'll strategize how to negotiate these agreements going forward. Biggest thing to understand is that the law requires that if you have a franchise agreement in place and there's a new ISP provider or telecom provider or whatever provider in the area, they have to basically agree to take that same franchise agreement, or then you have to get the other provider to modify their agreement so they're on the same playing field. Well, that's like trying to get two different providers to see eye to eye, and one already has their stuff in the ground, the other one doesn't, so there's kind of a motivation for the other one to maybe dog the other one out, so it becomes very messy, and so we're navigating those waters. The idea would be to try and create a platform county-wide that would basically, here's what we would ask as far as franchise agreements from all the townships collectively. It would make it far less contentious and give you a platform then to negotiate that this is what we do countywide. But the townships would have to buy into that first and foremost, and then after that you'd have to get the ISP providers to do the same. Then we also discussed the Dig Once policy, Dig Once proposal, which is to put either the conduit or the conduit and the fiber into the right-of-way when we do road projects going forward. So Ellie did a great job in putting together a presentation for us and drafting some policies with this. So we're moving forward with staff will develop the policy in a deeper level and then provide the committee with a possible pilot program and a cost associated with that, or an estimated cost. Then next one, we just scheduled our next broadband meeting, and more to come on that because we'll have our feasibility study at our next meeting in November. And that's all. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and recommendation.
Second.
Any other discussions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Ketchmark?
I'm just, as I was reading over the minutes here on the rate of return, I'm glad ARP is going to pay for the $49,000 broadband study. So 15% of those folks, that's what the MATEM explanation is based on then, on that third paragraph, when they're talking about this percentage of people use cell phone and all that is based on the 15% that answered the survey?
Largely, yes.
Okay. Well, is there any explanation for the low turnout, or I'm just kind of wondering, is that standard on a survey this size, or what do you think?
Well,
They claimed
that was really high. I mean,
Oh.
15% was a exceptional turnout
compared to other ones
other ones they've done.
Okay.
So
Well, I didn't know. I didn't have anything to base it on, but
we didn't either, and I would have loved to had a lot more,
At least half.
but, I mean, they had plenty of time, it just, you know, we got it out in a number of different locations.
Oh, yeah.
I know some of the cities had put it on their websites and the papers, and what do you do?
But the best part of the value is that we had a good cross-section of the county of this. It wasn't like a large volume of the responses were from any one area. We got a good cross-section, so that's what even added a lot more value to it.
Thank you for explaining that, because that's helpful when these numbers are out there. You know, what's the background?
Yeah.
'Cause it would look very different if you got all the responses from Monticello, Otsego versus Cokato, and just because way different, yeah.
And we did have somebody from Rockford Township, one of the supervisors, I believe, and to kind of explain a little bit about the issues they have with these franchise agreements and stuff like that.
And
So-
really what we should have probably done with this broadband agreement going forward is try to invite a couple township people to become members on this committee too, because they deal a lot with this stuff and how that stuff going forward within them. There's a lot of value, because what he brought to that discussion was great.
Yep. And again, that's
Greg or
a,
John?
I don't remember.
Is it?
I'm sorry. I thought it John,
Is it
but
on
I
here?
can't recall.
Yeah.
Dietering or
It's John. Yeah, it's John. It's in the minute. Yeah, John.
John
Yep.
Dietering?
Yep. He brought some great information for the discussion. So
Yeah, about their issues that they do have and their frustrations with it.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was good. And that might not be a bad idea. Pardon?
Tell me about it.
All right.
I had a motion and I had a second? Yep. Any other discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. More to come on broadband. All right, Personnel Committee met on October 27th. It was regarding sheriffs, some backfilling positions during long-term medical leaves, along with future hiring challenges. The sheriff provided us with some of the challenges that they've been having. Some cities that are they are suggesting to have additional contract hours with. Some issues with some retirements, how long it takes to hire people, and how many applicants they're getting for these positions. And it's just not the issue with Wright County, it's also an issue with other counties and police departments. And I think one of the things he stated was that for all the young people that are in school right now for getting their peace officer's license, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and one other city would take every one of those, and that's all there is out there. So it's going to be kind of a scary situation, possibly. And I'm not going to go over everything on here, you can all read it. But one of the things that Commissioner Vetch and I had suggested was that he's going to have to repeat everything he told us to the 5 commissioners, just because it's going to be a challenge going forward. So he had asked for 5 licensed deputies. We had suggested that at this point he could hire 2, and the other 3 would have to go before the full board. There's plenty of money because of in their budget, because of the time when somebody leaves and the time it takes for somebody to get rehired. They don't spend that anyway. So we had suggested that we would allow them to hire 2 licensed FTEs, and then again to set up a committee of the whole to have discussions regarding the concerns going forward.
So, so the only budgetary impact this is the benefits and equipment. The equipments are the one-time cost. The benefits are the ongoing. The rest, the wages will pretty much be paid for just by those that are on leave, because they're not spending 100% of their personnel costs because there's so much openings in the department all the time. So the wages and salaries, unless they were 100% staffed for the entire year, which
It hasn't happened, I don't know when.
so the exposure, the budgetary impact is just the wages and benefits for the two.
And he also
Or not wages, but just the benefits.
He also mentioned concerns about the corrections officers and also the shortage in that too.
Mr. Chair, if they're having trouble hiring, then why approve the 2 additional? I don't get that.
So they can get them in with, because right now, when they do get them, if they say, every once in a while they get a pool where there's a bunch of good ones they want, or ones that meet all this stuff, they want to be able to grab as many as they can because it's an ebb and flow.
And the problem is that by the time they go through all the requirements and the psychological, that they've gotten offers from other places, so.
So these wouldn't be permanent positions that would be added. They wouldn't be adding 2 more deputies. They're just approving hiring 2.
Well, it's going to be permanent, but we are never going to be fully staffed, I'm afraid.
It's the size of the department that is, a department our size it's just logistically with retirements and stuff, there's always people coming and going, so you're basically adding 2 more people to account for the fact that there's always going to be open positions.
It's a strategy move. They're trying to store up. If by chance some good candidates come along, we better store them up because we're going to need them. There's some retirements that are noted.
Yep.
Most likely that's not going to change. Those folks set a date and they're out the door. But it's almost like agents and draft for sports teams here, where you got to come up with the right kind of signing bonuses and different things. How do you sweeten the deal?
Yeah, well, and that's one of the issues that he did bring up, is that the cities are starting to offer hiring bonuses. No counties have yet. And none of the counties are afraid to do that, but, I mean, all the counties are kind of afraid to do that because once it starts, it's going to snowball.
Yeah.
So, do we be the first and grab people before? But it's, next year is negotiations, and for the unions, it's going to be tough. So that's why we're going to have a committee of the whole regarding this particular subject, both for deputies and corrections officers too, because they're having that same issue with correction officers. In fact, right now, we're housing all of the Benton County's female inmates.
I see that.
And Dakota County closed a pod due to staffing issues. So we've been fortunate. We've been able to keep our correction officers. But I just noticed today that there was one that just is resigning shortly. I know my son-in-law has a friend, his good friend just got hired over in Sherburne County as a correction officer. And the way it sounds that he applied here also, but they offered him first.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Ketchmark, I appreciate that you see that this is kind of a strategy, because I mean, we're up against the wall, and I think and this is labor market the way it is. Otherwise, our 2 licensed people on this board might have to go out and work out.
I'm experienced.
Hardship case. Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Ketchmark.
I'm wondering, on the legal standpoint for that committee of the whole, if we have Attorney Kreiser maybe look at what kind of latitude do we have with these bonuses? What can we offer for public office if there is anything, like the extra money and all these things? But maybe there's some guidelines on what, as a county, we can do or can't do that a city can or can't, but it'd be good to know that, what's on the table.
Sure.
Mr. Kreiser, did you hear that?
A little bit, yeah. I just mentioned that it'd be good from a legal standpoint if we knew what was on the table, what the parameters are for bonuses for new hires to sweeten the deal per se.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Ketchmark, we can discuss that internally here and get back to you guys at the workshop.
That's what we're
I think that'd be the
requesting.
best thing to do. But yeah, we can definitely dig into it and take a look at it. Unfortunately, we also have, as I heard you mention earlier, we have union contracts to deal with, so.
Next year, so
Yep.
it's gonna be a
And-
challenge.
And currently, I mean, if you're changing a pay structure, you're gonna have
Oh,
to deal with the
yeah.
union to deal with that too,
Yes,
so, yep.
yeah, that's right.
There's certainly ways.
Gee, thanks for that good news.
I could see the look on your face.
So,
Alrighty,
Thank
did I
you.
get a motion? Did you have something else?
I just think,
so, Mr. Chair, so it's clear, if we approve the minutes and the recommendations, we would be giving the sheriff, at least in the short term, the ability to add on 2 more deputies.
Full-time deputies.
Full-time deputies, in hopes of trying to backfill the open spots out there.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Wetter.
So the problem isn't that they're not getting a good enough salary, it's really a timing issue. Is that what I'm
Both,
hearing?
it's both.
It's a
It's
competitive
both.
market.
It is competitive, pretty competitive. So that one that went to Sherburne probably got more money, or you said it was first?
Yeah, I don't, seems to me he did say it was a little bit more, but, I mean,
Yeah, I just was curious whether it was
yeah, but
salary or
it's,
timing, or both, it sounds like now.
it's gonna be both.
Okay.
It's gonna be both. They're also providing bonuses for correction officers too. So,
Mr. Chair,
it's a discussion we're gonna have, I'm afraid. Yes?
for perspective for the board, there's a website that you can go on, of course, to look at job openings, and recently there was over 60 different agencies in Minnesota that were looking for officers or deputies. 60, and some multiple openings.
Yeah.
And you can read that they got the lateral move where you go up the pay scale right away, and you might have a few $1,000s extra if you stay there a certain length of time. But there's a whole bunch of things that are out there, but that many agencies, I've never seen that before.
No, that's,
It's gonna be a concerning time. Like I said, all those current students, if Minneapolis and St. Paul were able to hire, they could hire every one of those, and that would fill their rosters, and nobody else would get any. So we're gonna have to figure out something.
Mr. Chair. And then it might depend on what the vote is in Minneapolis too, whether they go get rid of their cops or not, it'll be interesting to see what that does to,
Yeah, that's going on today, right?
Mr. Chair,
so, yeah.
a big piece is just to understand that the law enforcement programs in Minnesota and just even regionally, they're not even maxing out their numbers where historically their programs would be full.
Right.
So even if they were full, it wouldn't meet the amount of officers that are leaving. So, and with them not being full, it makes that problem even more exacerbated.
And I offered, with a permit to carry, but I was turned down. They didn't want me anywhere near, so, I was willing to help.
I don't believe that.
Well, the question is whether you could pass this psych exam that they say.
Yeah, well, that's right. I knew there was a specific thing regarding it. Yeah, something about my not passing the psych exam.
So those that are coming out of like the armed services and that were, in that line of duty, law enforcement, how are they treating them? Do they have to go through extra stuff yet before they can become a?
They still have to have the Minnesota licensed
Yeah.
police officer.
So they still have to get they have to get at least a 2-year degree in criminal justice, and then still have to go through a law enforcement academy at some point.
Oh,
But yeah, it's a discussion to be had in the future.
okay, thanks.
Did we get a motion?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Personnel Committee minutes and the recommendations.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Wetter. Any further discussions on this concerning discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
It was a
Motion
1-0
carries
vote. No. It was-
One vote didn't happen.
No, I was an aye.
Yeah.
It was just really quiet.
Yeah.
All right.
Tuesday's like Monday.
Now we have the IT committee minutes. I will get through this. Project updates, the Net app, which is the upgrade to the storage and management backup recovery system at the county, is one of the bigger projects that they're undertaking at this time. There was a move to I guess this is not even a new move, it's been a new move that's been in place, that the messaging within Teams is now going to be, or already has been, under 14 days. So after 14 days, those little instant chats are deleting or being removed. I was just kind of letting people that didn't know that was already taking place. The camera project is still moving forward. Hopefully, it should be ready to roll out here in November. The website redesign is starting to take shape. The plan or the intent is to be able to have it roll out with the new government center if things go accordingly. Other than that, we had some other discussion about the team dynamics and the ticketing system, but the recommendation was to approve the Net app quote and to move forward with that backup system. The new project request was an emergency medical records replacement for the sheriff's office and a server decommission for the sheriff's office as well. So otherwise, the project portfolio summary, Rebecca gave us kind of an update and kind of on Q-Flow and gave us kind of a placement of where the website redesign should be in relation to all the other projects. Then he approved the attorney Carpel project and have it ranked right below the website, because that was kind of that software trying to figure out where it should be ranked in line with all the other projects. With that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the recommendations from the IT committee minutes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Vetch, second by Commissioner Houston. Any other discussions? And there's always reasons to use IT technology. It's going to keep growing. All right. No other discussions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. All right. Advisory Committee, Advisory Board updates. Let's start with Administrator Kelly.
Very well, thank you, sir. Last week, Thursday, we did have a supervisory training with Susan Hansen, our labor attorney. Caused a good discussion. I think it was a good interactive session. A lot of comments from folks, supervisors that attended on that. I've met quite a bit with Elizabeth on the mandates project, and we're getting close on honing that in. So look forward to bringing that to the board in the future. And other big event, we've had 2 days now of negotiations with our units regarding health insurance, both on the 28th and the 1st yesterday. So I think those have gone well. So that is my update for today.
That's it? Haven't you been doing anything?
Not really, no.
Okay.
I'm running out of bonbons, by the way.
Oh, are ya? Any particular flavor this time?
Hey, whatever works, man.
Okay. Commissioner Wetter.
I have nothing to report except I do have one question. I went to Attorney Kelly's retirement party, and on the way out, discussion was that.
Brian's?
You mean Brian?
Yeah, it's like, Tom retired twice now.
I mean, Brian,
Oh,
Brian's.
yeah, Brian's, I'm sorry. Anyways, as I left talking to the entry officer, the talk out there was that we weren't going to be able to get into the new building till February. Is that what's going around?
I haven't heard that update from Alan, no. So I can check if things have changed. I know we've been working hard with a few contractors on some performance things, but a timeline is still holding is my last update, so.
Okay. Just was curious.
Sure.
So we'll have that discussion next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that would be nice to know if they know
Yeah, if
something
it's-
we don't know.
Yeah, I just thought, oh, really? If that's the rumor going, if it's just a rumor too, you don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe they were wishful thinking that we weren't going to be out there till then.
That's all.
That's it?
Yeah.
Commissioner Vetch?
All right, so last week, out of the variety of different meetings, one of the key that stood out was CMRP last week. The formerly Highway 25 Central Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership. And for those of you that aren't remember what that acronym's for, we're starting to take shape now that we have our action plans. We've created a variety of different subcommittees. Our transportation subcommittee met and is beginning to do a large collection of the land use plans from the variety of jurisdictions and is going to begin the process of trying to I guess, finesse that with the possibilities of potential corridors for a future river crossing and have that dialogue. So that's the first time, believe it or not, this is the first time that they'll actually use the land use plan as part of that discussion. Before they used all transportation metrics to determine where it should go versus the current land uses. So this time they're going to try a different approach of trying to use what are the current land uses and what are the future land uses for the land, and then take the transportation as a secondary layer on it. So, and we also approved Barry Reinberger to be the new. So, no, but you will be getting contacted on that. I think that if Bill Kemp hasn't even already contacted you to try and start to collect that information. Also, they met, and this is a piece where I need to get kind of the input from the board. They are creating kind of placemaking grants / micro grants, kind of grants that are in the range of like $500 to $1,000 for the region. And a lot of these micro grants are collective signage in that would basically take pathways from Sherburne to Wright County, and a lot of other, I guess I'm still trying to get my head on the scope of what they intend to do with it from placemaking, but grants, and they're basically going to allocate about $20,000 to $25,000 of the organization's funds. So to do this, so they wanted to get the input from one of the board members had a question and wanted to get the feedback from the individual jurisdictions. Is this something that they're okay with or want to do or think this organization should or shouldn't be doing with their funds? A lot of what the reason they're doing for this is they're trying to use this as an effort to show that there can be cross-jurisdictional collaboration in trying to create that holistic from using these funds either to lead small pathways in between the communities or to start saving up to do those type of things or do signage for them, these type pathways.
Or the unions, engineering?
Yep, or the engineering, yep. So where there kind of gets to those gray areas as to who should pay for some of these type things. So it's trying to get that whole larger holistic vision, and this is kind of one of those efforts. So in this, they're bringing in a lot of different people that are not sitting in county staff to sit on this granting committee. They're looking to get people that sit on the parks commissions at the different cities. They're looking to get members from the township, and as well as getting chamber members from both sides of the river as well. It doesn't change the fee structure for the organization. Actually, the fee structure for the last 3 years has gone down every single year, so.
Anything else?
No.
How did the,
Oh, Trailblazer. I had that too, but last week.
oh, yeah. Tuesday afternoon, you also did a tour.
Hilo Hilo?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
Yeah, that was amazing.
that was amazing. And I was amazed at the types of jobs and the upward motion that there is for jobs like that in Wright County, and to realize that there is a manufacturer that is, has that big of a foothold in that industry. I want to say it was the
mean, they're
largest manufacturer in the world
worldwide,
of
yeah.
saunas, which just was amazing that that's right here in Wright County, and the amount of growth that they have there is, I mean, if they could get the people, they would take 15 to 20, 30 people.
I think that they take like probably up to 40, because then they say they're looking at trying to bring on like 30, but they, you know, I mean, they could take on more. You know, then they'd be able to do more, so, yeah.
But the market, there's just not enough people in the market to grow as fast as the demand is for their product.
And things sit, you know, on shipping docks when they're brought over from overseas, and it's gotten so expensive, the shipping costs. He said what it was normally, it used to be like $4,000, you know, to ship this stuff, and now it's like $34,000 in like a year later, so it's just crazy how that is. But it's, yeah, they make custom saunas, and I mean, they can make you a sauna that's under a stairway, so it's kind of cool. But they're also looking at probably expanding so that they would have more standard saunas. So this would be their model for their outdoor one, and, you know, indoor one, so they could look at that. But do infrared plus the steam. Yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Now, what were they? They were like 1,500 orders behind?
7,500.
7,500, was that what it was? Oh, then
I mean,
forgot
can you
to
imagine?
put the
So,
line
yeah,
on
so
the-
they could use a lot more staff.
Yeah. Amazed at that.
But there's a lot of factors that played into that. It was a lot of it was
Right.
that they could get the sourcing the materials.
Or they're
as well
waiting
as
for the
labor.
materials sitting on, you know, on
And
shipping
the
docks.
different woods, I didn't realize
Yeah,
they used so
like
many.
at least three different woods, was it?
Yeah, 3. It convinced Commissioner Houston to want to go buy one, right?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Indoor or outdoor one?
I don't have room inside.
Whatever Dan says yes to.
Yeah. I would assume being next to the lake there that they'd want the outside.
I think so too.
Well, I just figured we'd go over to Greg's house. Bring a towel.
That's all I have.
Yeah, that was interesting, very interesting.
Just a couple, did anybody make it to the open house?
The highway department?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did,
I had a conflict.
I did.
In between employee issues with people with COVID and,
Mike and I made it to the one in Howard Lake. I didn't go to the one here because I went to the one in Howard Lake, and yeah, the attendance was sparse.
was it in Howard Lake? How about the one at the county?
Well, I went there early and left, but I would say at that time, Greg, they had quite a few names already.
Well, 4.
I thought it was
Quite a
more
few.
than that.
More than Howard Lake.
I don't know, you'd have to ask Virgil, but
I wonder how the virtual one is going. We'll have to, maybe we can get an update on that next week.
that's a
for
good
the-
idea.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, back to the workshop. There you go.
That's
Yeah.
expired now, right? I mean, that's over?
The 4th was the last day, I believe.
November 4th, yeah.
All right, a couple more days.
And if we haven't got much response, maybe we'll have to extend it or something, but actually, that would be a good thing to bring up next week, to find out where we're at with that.
Maybe Mr. Holler can put it in on the website again or something, reminding people that the end is coming.
I do know that both St. Michael and Otsego had it on their website. And both St. Michael and Otsego had sent us resolutions to continue the loss funding.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know. Those are the only two I'm aware of. I don't know if anybody else has or not. You know, there are always so many things always going on.
Yeah.
But we did do some interviewing last week regarding Wright County Community Action, so
Oh, good.
we're getting close to getting a new director out there.
Good.
Go ahead, Commissioner Houston.
All right, I think the only advisory, it was a busy week though, but was the Central Minnesota Emergency Medical Services, and we our two agencies in our county, Buffalo Police Department and the Wright County Sheriff's Office, were recipients of the naloxone grant, so it's good to have that resource that is providing our departments with the naloxone, because it's certainly, we found out that with the Overdose Fatality Review Committee, that Wright County does have high incidence of overdoses, so that's unfortunate. And the critical incident team, normally they would have like 25 critical incidents that they respond to in a year, and they've already had 27, so they're up, and it's, you know, concerning that we want to make sure that we provide the support that the team needs also, so, because they can get pretty burned out too, but just some discussion about how the COVID numbers have been up, and that's stress services, but other than that, I think that's about all I have.
Commissioner Ketchmark.
Yes, just one meeting, Planning Commission met, over a 3-hour meeting. 2 hours was spent on the Teen Challenge CUP proposal in Rockford Township. Next step for that's a site inspection, and then it's going to be continued to the November 18th meeting.
Chair, Commissioner Ketchmark, when is that site visit?
Oh, site inspection?
I'd like to attend, and I don't know if we need to get,
That's
like-
open to the public.
huh?
Anyone can go to those.
But I mean, it doesn't matter if
You can have two.
Yeah.
Not the third one.
As long as you
yeah,
don't
that's
have
what
a
I'm
quorum.
saying.
Friday the 12th,
Yeah, what time is that?
we're going to meet here at 3:15 and be out there by 3:30.
Okay, you take a bus or?
Well,
I
there's a
mean,
little van depending on
Little van?
who's here, otherwise, depending on where the members are coming from, they'll just go from
Be
their
there.
house.
Okay. Yeah, so if there's more than two of us, we need to have public notice. So thanks.
You can drive there almost any time too and drive around. I have.
But to go through the buildings, you know.
Alrighty. That's it?
That's it.
Anybody else have anything? Not, we are adjourned at 10:13.